Share this. Share this. You can share this. I'm gonna try to stay on and do something differently. So appreciate you. Listen, I'm gonna just wait to you. Wave my hand. Look like you're raining, Thomas. Look like you're raining. Looks like it's raining. Let's see. All right, welcome. Welcome to the Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, A.D. Walker. Push the Grow, the Motivator. Appreciate you guys for being here. We're gonna have an amazing show. It's been a while. I feel like I've been on a little small hiatus for a minute. So let me know when you're ready. Just throw the thumbs up. Been a small hiatus and some extra time I didn't plan on, but life be lifing, and we're back, and we appreciate you guys for being here. Let me see, make sure my mic is on the right space. Good morning. Good morning. I see some folks coming in the building. Good morning. So a couple of things we want to talk about today. We're talking about what's your greatest fear. We're going to dig into that a little bit, and how we're overcoming or dealing with it. So stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with our intro. So make sure you're sharing. Sharing is caring. And we'll be back in about 30 seconds. All right. If I could hit this joker right here, and we're going to come back. Stand up. Boom, gentlemen. Good morning.
What up? What up?
Good to see you guys. Thank you guys for coming back. Little smaller, longer hiatus than I planned on, but again, life be lifing. So I'm gonna jump in real quick. Just came back from a trip to New York, just hanging out, and so if you don't know, I'm from Long Island, so living on an island, obviously there's beaches like everywhere, just like any state or area that has they're on an island. But what I discovered, which is funny, and if you know the history of just like New York and a lot of states, like I think about the racist past and how there are hidden gems and hard to find things. But now with the advent of Google, we can find things that we wouldn't normally see, in certain neighborhoods. So I just randomly started Googling beaches, in the area. And it's crazy the number of beautiful beaches I found just in the nooks and crannies of neighborhoods. Now, these are like nice neighborhoods. Like you wouldn't just run up on there's like them areas like there's just no reason to be in there. There's no reason. Why would you be in this area unless you go into this particular house? Maybe those that are in the delivery field, you might have like, wow, I've never seen this, but there was some beautiful beaches. I'm like, wow, it's amazing how these things kind of been hidden, little hidden gems for a while. And they were just nice. And I just was kind of blown away, like, growing up on Long Island, like up and down this, island, back and forth, like never knowing about these small beaches. They're the ones that I found like 2 or 3 that everybody else was hanging out at, but they're public. You can kind of see them. They got signs. But these nice ones, oh no, there's no signs. There's no sign. This one I actually went in, wasn't even sure if it was public, but it had had the big sign, the name of the beach or whatever. So I was like, oh, and it said, closes at dusk. So I was like, okay, that looks public. And we like going down, like you going down this trail, and it's paved road, and like look over to the side, there's this huge, beautiful beach house. It's just crazy. Like now with technology and Google Maps and the things you can find, if you just Google and look for them, that just aren't obviously available or we're just unaware. So I just want to kind of share that because we've missed out on so many things because of our lack of knowing. You know what I'm saying? Like we just missed out on so much. The internet is great still, but it's knowing the words and the verbiage to find the knowledge that you need, if that makes sense. Because like people that want to work from home, if you put things like work from home, you get a plethora of unsure, like, do I gotta pay for this? Or is it, but when you are specific in your verbiage, you can find the things that you're really looking for, if that makes sense.
I always say you ask the right questions, you can get the right answers.
Right.
A lot of times people ask, why me? Why do I have to go through this? Those are the wrong questions. You're going to get the wrong answer. So, you ask Google the right questions, you get the right beaches, I guess.
Right. That's good. That's good. I'll bring Kadeem. What's up, Kadeem? AKA.
What's interesting, just to piggyback on what you talk about in terms of like places that you don't know.
Yes.
Yesterday I ran into like a college friend, and she was telling me, like, I recently moved to Charles County, Maryland, just about 45 minutes south of DC.
Okay.
Moved here about in July, and when I ran into her yesterday, she talked about all of these different places, crab places or just places in general where, we could be able to go as a family and so forth. Right. And I realized that there's so much that you can be exposed to when you're willing to be exposed. And I just remember for myself, I'm a city guy. I'm originally from Baltimore, lived in Philly for a few years, and I spent the majority of my adulthood living in DC. And now moving now and living in the suburb life, you're just exposed to something completely different than what you would have had living in the city. And had I not made, we not had these life changes, having, the twins, we would probably never move this far.
Right.
But it has gained so much exposure to what is really out here. You said you find beaches, and we live by the Potomac River.
Okay.
So there's like beaches and things like that, or just different, waterways or walkways that you could be able to just go outside, but you just wouldn't even be exposed to it. And so I wanted to kind of add that to the conversation that, hey, if you don't ask the right questions, if you're not willing to expose yourself, then you won't see some of the most beautiful places that's out here in the world.
Right. That's deep.
So I have one question though. Here's the right question. What are Long Beaches like? Long Island beaches like? Long Island beaches. Are they cold? Are they dirty? Are they grimy? Or are they really nice and pristine, put together?
Well, water-wise, it ain't like the Caribbean. No, it's murky. It's murky water. And from what I understand, like some of the news, I'm not sure why, there have been a lot of spottings of sharks in the water lately. But growing up, I mean, yeah, they're cold. It's cold. Like you don't really get a good warm to maybe like August. You can really get in there, and that's remember I'm from there, so it's my adjustment to it is a little different. So yeah, about August is when the water's really worth getting in. But but yeah, they're always, I won't say pristine, but it's nice. Like for the most part,
Okay.
even Jones Beach, which is our biggest public beach, it's pretty nice. Like they have a long beach, and it's okay. You know, it's like neighborhoods and beach real close, so you know how that mix can kind of get. But as far as water, it's murky. It's not the clearest, cleanest. You know,
I mean, the Pacific
Caribbean
Ocean ain't the cleanest and
right,
clearest.
right.
I mean, it's cold.
Right.
I mean, the beaches are nice though, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
ocean itself it's just cold and
Yeah.
you know.
But like
you
as
know,
far as clean, like it's good. Like it's I've never walked in like, ooh, I guess they ain't cleaned this up in a long time. You know, like it's
Right.
never had those situations. So it's always been at least decent, you know. So it's always cool. Like I said, these little beaches, it's almost perfect in view. Like I had a good view of the sunset. They had I don't know if you ever seen a swan up close. Them jokers are huge. And honestly, it wasn't just one. It's probably like 4 or 5 just hanging out, and them jokers are huge. So it was an interesting combination. All right. Kadeem, good morning, sir.
My brother, it's always good to see you, man.
Yes,
hope
indeed.
You enjoyed every day of your vacation, my brother.
I did. It was good. It was good. I got to do the one thing that I'm sure that most people do when they go back to their home space is eat. I got to eat. Eat the stuff
what was one of your first things that you ate that made you feel like you was back home, buddy?
We went to Pizza Barn. Now this is a new eatery spot with slices about that big. Yeah, not that big, and that might be underestimated.
You told me about it, man. I wanted to go. We didn't. It was 2 hours. Like
Yeah, it's away. It's not a New York convenience spot. It is not.
yeah,
Unless you're
like,
in Yonkers, you know, like unless you know somebody, why would you be in Yonkers?
Subway,
So
like ride subway or whatever, and you get out
Yeah.
that way. Man, we looked that up. It was 2 hours. Oh
Right.
no, we do 2 hours. We might well go to Connecticut. We're gonna do 2 hours.
wow. Good morning, sir. All right, for my podcast people, you probably wonder why has it gone silent on the show for a moment. My brother Brian A. McCrory has just showed up with a banner for the Cowboys showing the Super Bowl championships. And just for the note, probably some of y'all listening were not alive when these championships happened.
Wow. It says Super Bowl 6. What we at 53, 54 now?
Wow.
I had to.
This, my brother. It is always a pleasure seeing you, brother. But that
Right,
debacle
you
that
nigga.
you got behind
Right, let's
you,
put that up there. 90s.
I mean, I mean, it is memorabilia. Don't get me wrong. It is a memory. That's for sure.
Have to pull out the VHS tapes to watch them.
That goes in a museum.
Thank you. I mean,
What's up, Michael? Good morning.
What was it? Early 90s? Early 90s. It was early 90s.
That was it.
I think it was early 90s.
Just a little bit of shock broadcasting this morning.
Oh.
Thomas, how did you do? Big moment.
Wait.
Check out the background.
I've been waiting to get in. I've been chopping, get back in.
I mean,
You know what this is? This reminds me of the person that has the Jerry curl and don't want to let go because it's the good old days. It reminds me of the high school quarterback who's like, man, I remember I could have went pro and has that little half shirt on, talking about, I could have went That's what showing that banner reminds me.
Hey, Jeff.
Let it go. Those were the good old days, man. That's when I had my heyday. That's when football season was real. That's when we played real football. We didn't play this old sissy stuff we playing now.
Wow.
Hey, Jeff, I didn't even have to say anything, Jeff.
I think sound like a little Teddy Penny. I think I better let it go.
Let it go.
All I did was show up. All I did was show up, and y'all just started hating.
And no,
it ain't hate. It's this is an intervention. It ain't hate.
It lets me know. It lets me know that if I ever came to y'all church, I have to be careful what I wear.
Oh no. You be fine. It's not about what you wear, brother. It's not what you wear. We ain't judging the exterior.
I have all these witnesses on here that will know that I didn't do anything except show up, and y'all just went in.
Hey, if you come to any church, we would know you was a visitor. Any visitor.
Brother, you need prayer today? You hear you need prayer?
You're asking for prayer. You need some prayer.
Right. See, that's what you should have done. As soon as I popped up on the screen, somebody should have said, "Let us pray."
Let us pray.
Father.
You right. I can't deny that. Let's pray for this brother. He lost.
Right. There you go. Look, there you go. Yo said you can wear the Cowboys all day. Just get ready for all the extra love you're about to get. Right, prayer and a hug.
Listen, they after the first two games, they thought they had the Super Bowl in hand. So after last Sunday, I was wondering, y'all okay?
And what was so funny about it is they got dominated. Like I was like, I'm thinking it's gonna be a lot of turnovers. Maybe the referee's gonna be, bad calls. No, it was just, hey, let me put my foot in the crack of your behind, and we're gonna go down the field.
We're gonna show you what football is really like.
Yeah,
real quick. What's up,
well,
Lisa?
as you can see, I'm doing fine.
What's up, Richard?
Look.
Wow.
You're not in denial mode yet. I understand.
So
okay, I apologize, AD. I didn't mean to be such a distraction.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. We need some of this comic relief sometimes. Ron said back when I was able to get a shape up. Oh man, so, right. That's true. That is a true fan. He said you keep telling yourself you're okay. Oh,
hey, it's football season, man. I'm in full force right now.
Hey, I'm very pleased with my team. Even though we didn't lost 2 games, the future's looking bright. The future's looking bright.
So I'm gonna shift it up a little bit because I started talking about some of the things I was exposed to in New York as far as beaches and stuff. What up, Larry? Good morning, sir. Good morning.
It was good until
it was good.
It was good. I was enjoying the convo.
Wait! Don't finish that statement. Let me finish it for you.
You gotta let it go.
It was good until the Cowboys hung that 40 piece on us.
Oh wow!
As bad as we are, at least we're not the Giants.
Oh well, see, I admit my
good until we hung that 30 piece.
I was
as bad as we are, we're not the Jets. Watch this. It was good. Those first couple of games, we really thought our quarterback was getting ready to do something crazy, and then Washington fell off.
Oh wow!
See, we knew what we was working with as true sports fans. With the Giants,
right. The crowd went.
You beat a team when it's not a team. But you know what? I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm sorry. Good to see you again.
I thought it was the Cowboys that were not a team.
There today, good to see all you guys. All right, AD, you have to go into another.
Hey, look, y'all can clown me all day, and then when he gets on, I'm like, well, we beat y'all.
But,
Oh man,
we do got one person who don't talk sport, who don't talk football.
All right. So again, welcome to the Brothers of Legacy. Appreciate you guys for being here. I walked through. He said I walked through the walls. I appreciate you guys for being here again. So I was going to talk about the greatest fear, but then, Earl added to the conversation, being exposed and learning the language of where you're at. So I started off talking about the story of going back to New York last week and discovering some of the beaches, just by Googling beaches I've never seen, and I've lived on Long Island pretty much my whole life. Beaches that aren't like publicly displayed, but when you pull up on them, you can see that they're like public beaches, and just small nooks and crannies and things that you discover throughout your life. And Earl mentioned, moving and, being in a place he's probably been in for a while and like discovering new spaces. So I want to kind of throw it out for you guys. Like, what are some of the things that once you got the knowledge of, you discovered something new, new information. And I tell a story about, I had a camera and, I was trying to use it record when we had the church and trying to figure out on YouTube how to fix it. But once I understood exactly like what to look for as far as language wise, it was easy to find the instructions to it. You're trying to fix something and you're putting in exactly what you're thinking, and you don't get your the right search engine is not giving you the answer that you want until you realize the language that you're looking for. Like, so have you guys had those kind of situations where once I figured out the language, finding the information was easy? Especially I know Kaneem, he's been in so many different kind of businesses. I know, like, starting off searching and then realizing the language, once understanding the language of an industry, it's easy to find certain information. So I kind of want to toss it out there. Have you guys ever been in that situation? And good morning, Sam.
Morning, Sam.
Morning, Sam. I guess I'm trying to understand. Sam. Can you say that one more time, AD?
Sure. So
all of it? All of them?
No, you're talking about speaking the language of an industry. Because when you said it, I got to thinking about being in IT and talking about databases, right? You go talk to a database administrator. If you don't speak the database language, they're not even going to waste their time talking to you. Right. You don't speak SQL. You don't speak Oracle. It's a waste of time because it takes too long for them to try to explain it to you. Is that kind of what the path you were going down?
In essence, but taking it back, even just taking a step back, where let's just say between the difference between me trying to get into the tech industry and you trying to get into the tech industry. For me, I'm typing in tech jobs for such and such. For you, you're looking for specific,
cloud or security,
Oracle information. You know how to search for it.
It's funny when I thought about it, as dudes, we're always trying to figure out the language, because from back in the days when we had to first talk to a girl, we had to try to figure out the language. And when we're trying to get into be the cool crowd, you have to figure out the language wherever your circle is. And then as you move forward in life, your exposure to things really should open and shape you. But a lot of times, the openness we had early on, we kind of start closing in and honing in. Just, this is who I am. We don't really open ourselves up to new stuff that much, because unfortunately, back in the days, open ourselves up to girls or whatever, the rejection had caused us to recluse and just come back into ourselves. And a lot of times we get to a point where we're just comfortable with what we have, and we don't begin to ask the new questions and try the new things and experience. And that's and it's not everybody, but there are a lot of ways that
has played out in life with people, especially men.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody want to jump in? Any everyone's pondering, thinking. Okay. So Yo Mega says if you're trying to break into IT work, your best bet is going to be try and get a hospital job doing IT. A lot of hospitals will hire you with zero IT experience because they want someone we said what's this? Someone without bad slowly someone without bad IT habits, and IT people sometimes develop over the years. I got you.
Yeah,
but
he's talking truth right there. There's a
For
lot
real.
of IT guys with bad habits.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Express yourself.
No, I was gonna. It's kind of like piggyback on what Thomas is saying, but on a different level, like just where when I work with youth, either with sports or whatever, like in order to get them to buy into what I'm trying to teach them on the court or talk to them about in like a Vacation Bible School, I got to meet them at their language, right? I got to talk their talk or something that's relatable to them. And it's like, okay. And then that's me trying to be the cool guy. Right. It's like once you get in, it's like, oh, I can talk to him. He knows how to do that. I just want to rock, and it works. It's like it'd be that icebreaker, but it's like, okay, they say, all right, he's actually he's not just an old dude or like green his beard like my dad. He's actually pretty cool. All right, well, let me hear him out and see what he got to say, and it usually works for me. I'm just trying to now. You got us here. You got us here, Ed. You went more philosophical on us.
But okay, so I want to take it a step further. So, how do you break bad habits when you learn the language? Like, how do you, like, when you've always learned something, right? Like, we feel like we know something, and things change, evolve. Like in the IT world, it's always changing and evolving. You guys always got to go through even in finance, you got to go through recertifications because the landscape is changing and evolving. And is it easy, going through those shifts and changes? And I know the older you get, the figure it out button becomes a little more challenging. You got to, like, especially if you've been doing something 10 years plus, it's like, a new system is thrown at you, a new language, a new way of dealing is thrown at you. How do you upgrade?
I think it just goes by. Go ahead.
I think for many of us, we have to, continuously realize that we're not the smartest ones in the rooms, and sometimes, sometimes we can easily get like that. And I believe, like my wife recently said something to me like that, like, have you been the smartest one in your circle? And that kind of hit me and was like, ooh, have I really been in that space? And sometimes it takes for me to be able to humble myself and realize that, hey, maybe it's some times where I need to gain exposure into some new places, because there's new innovation, there's fresh ideas, there's quicker way to do things, there's updates on different laws or protocols or whatever those things are. And we have to be, I think the biggest thing is that we have to be open and being into spaces with people who are willing to be open, who are willing to share, what has worked well for them, share, the good and the bad, so to be able to help you out, to move you further along.
Okay.
I think it's absolutely personality driven in a lot of cases. But to your point, how long have you been doing it that way, right? If you have a rigid personality and you don't like change, there's always going to be a struggle. I think that there's a certain amount of openness that we all have to exercise to continue to evolve. I mean, I used to say to people all the time, if you think you'd have it all together, go outside, dig a hole about 6 to 8 feet deep, jump in, because it's over. You know, the day you stop learning is the day you start dying.
Right. That's good. That's good.
And as Brian
Yeah,
was saying, it's different personalities. You know, everybody, we're different on what we're going to learn. And a lot of times, you know, we're always evolving and learning new things. It's just, you know, what does it do for you? And a lot of times, you know, your people determine how effective of your learning at an older age. What it does for you is if it makes money for you, or if it brings this, or it does. If you're learning new things, a new hobby or something, that's good. But you got to learn to hone in on what it is that's going to keep you thriving, continue to move forward. To learn to unlearn certain things, you got to often reassess yourself too. If you don't reassess where you're at, then you'll never truly make those changes that you need to make, because you're always thinking that where you're at is the best place. But you know, and it could be for you, that could be perfectly fine. But you know, where I'm at right now, I'm always trying to reinvent something. You know, let's go. And it feels like, you know, there's more life in constantly doing new things. There may not be as much stability though, right? You're doing something new, and you know, I'm not 20, 30 anymore, and I'm doing all these new things. People can look at that as being crazy, because at this age, you should be trying to stabilize yourself. You should be trying to do this. But you know, there's so much life to live. And a lot of times I enjoy the idea of it being exposed to something brand new and learning something new. And then that just kind of opens up a new world of, God, where do you want me at? And that's really where it comes to, is, God, where do you want me at? And let's see what's next. So
that's good. That's good. He said, business wise, slow moving computer. Business wise, early on, learn bosses love some pretty pictures. A nice, colorful chart goes far. Also, out of sight, out of mind. He said, yes. Joe Baker says, yes, I agree. It was hard for me to accept that I wasn't the smartest person anymore. I guess smartest person in the room anymore. And okay, that's good. So Richard asks, how do you build a foundation, a structure of stability? I guess how do you still stay stable on a strong foundation and still upgrade, you know, with the changing of times?
That's mindset.
Yeah.
Right. I think humility says that there's always room to grow. Right. If you have a stable mindset that recognizes that it's important to grow and to evolve, then you take that into everything that you do. Right. I think that's the stability, recognizing that you don't have all the answers, recognizing that there's still more to learn.
Right. But you got to be careful with mindset too, because mindset can say you're okay and you're actually sinking in quicksand. So you got to look at that mindset from both ways. I think when you have a group of accountability people that can help you and really speak into your life and your world, it helps you with structure. It helps you understand that you're going the right way, and your, you know, stability, I think, is also a part of your life. You know, it is your life, and you know, you're over here trying to get into this job, and you keep bumping your head into this job, and no, they're not going to let you be a police officer with 3 felonies, but you keep trying to be that. You know, there's no stability. You know, you're killing your ability to be stable, because you're spending so much time on something that's going to be not really pay benefits toward, you know, your stability. And so stability just it's this idea of being in the right place, right time, and really being able to do being realistic. But the other part is, where's your faith? And ultimately that's where your stability comes from, because this world is unstable. And so where you finding your true stability matters.
Indeed. So let me I'm gonna pivot a little bit. So being stable, changes happen. digging into my original topic of what's your greatest fear, and I'll speak to one of mine, which is I won't say irrelevant, but just not being at pace with what's going on around me. I mean, I get it. By 90, I probably won't care. You know, like, yeah, I don't need to figure that out anymore. But just not being able to handle technology, you know, whatever's next after the smartphone, you know, getting in the car, like how you start this thing. You know, like I think that's, you know, one of my fears as well. For you guys, like what would be one of your fears with changing, just period, one of your greatest fears? I know Larry's ready to answer. I know he was ready when I threw it in the group chat. Oh, what would be one of your greatest fears?
That was so 3 days ago.
Not 3 days ago.
you know things.
You
change at that
to
point,
marinate
you know.
on it.
So yeah, so my biggest fear, and no, not to be redundant, keep going back on it, but I thought it was going to happen, which I'm glad it didn't happen. Was I don't want to die before my wife. I don't want to leave her hanging.
I got you. Okay.
And that's how and that's the way I feel about it. Like I can't, when that's my person, and I feel like I'll be letting her down.
Wow.
If I go before her, I don't want her to have to deal with the pain with doing arrangements for me, burying me, all that stuff. That's always been like, that's one of the biggest things. And when I thought it was about to happen, I was just like, oh, I wanted to call her and say sorry.
Wow.
That's mine. So
okay.
Sorry, I went with that dark on you guys.
Good, bro.
I opened it up because the whole time you're talking, I'm gonna lighten this up a little bit. I can see her going, I don't want you to go before me. I don't want to go before you. And y'all battling back and forth all the way to you like 110. I ain't going before you. You go. I ain't going.
I know, right? I'll take that. All right. We'll do the pillows. We'll do the pillows.
You're gonna be battling. You're gonna be so stubborn. I ain't going before you. You go.
All right.
We'll on three. Put the pillows on each other's face. 1, 2.
Yeah.
He said, Rod, he said, wow, you just added a new fear for me.
I'm sorry, Rod.
Nothing personal. You go first. I can't. Anybody else want to kind of jump in? Want to share a little
about a greatest fear?
Yeah.
That's hard for me, man.
Okay.
He's fearless. He's a Cowboys fan.
Say it again.
He's fearless. You're a Cowboys fan.
That was good. I don't mind. So if you want to hang out for mine is creating a trauma in my kids that is hard for them to overcome in life. That's my trauma, my fear right there is like how I parent matters. Creating trauma, they're sensitive these days, right? So they're a little bit different than we were growing up. There's the world has changed, it's evolved, it's different, and I don't do anything that I feel like is going to create trauma. It's just they're very sensitive. Like any little thing, you take something away from them, you punish them the wrong way, you do something, and it's like, I hate you kind of thing, right? Not that my kids would say that, but we've seen it happen before. And but that's really my fear is like I don't know how I'm parenting. How's this thing going
Right.
to turn out?
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Well, let me encourage you.
like that. Oh,
First of all,
Uh,
you have a foundation,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
and that's not your desire to do. So you work really hard in life to not do that.
Absolutely.
right.
So that shouldn't be a fear because that's not something you can control.
But there's
Um,
nothing we can actually control, right?
Can I finish my point?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, you
Uh,
can't.
I'm not saying,
Hold on, these
I'm not
Cowboys-
invalidating your fear,
Right.
right?
Okay.
I'm not invalidating your fear. I accept what you said. I receive what you said. My response is let me encourage you,
Okay.
Right.
right? And the encouragement is, and I'm speaking from somebody who has raised children into adults and
Yeah.
have had to accept responsibility for traumatizing my children because I didn't know what I didn't know. Right?
That's good.
If there's a fear, it would be not having the opportunity to resolve it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because traumas happen to all of us and we don't know what we don't know. That's just real. So the only thing we have is what's in our heads and the desire to want to be the best version of ourselves. That doesn't mean we won't have those fears. But what I'm saying is the encouragement is if something were to happen that traumatizes my children, Lord, just give us time to be able to work through it.
Right.
You know,
That's good.
and when I say I struggle with it, I'm saying that because I have survived so much trauma. Right? And the older I get,
Right.
the less fear I have because of
Right.
what God has brought me through.
there you go.
Right.
Right. I have had to deal with the child that was traumatized. I've had a special needs child that couldn't scratch his own nose,
Right.
couldn't wipe his own behind,
Right.
you know, and I had to lay my only son to rest. Something that no parent would ever want to. If you ask this question to a lot of parents, they would say, I don't want to have to bury my child.
Right. Man, that's
Well, you know what? I had to bury one of mine,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but here I am still giving God glory.
Right.
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 Well, I don't want to lose everything. Well, I lost everything. And then I found out I didn't really lose everything.
Right. That's good. That's good.
Right.
That's a good point.
So what it has done is it has caused me to look deeper at the scripture that says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Now I begin to understand how those fears take a hold of us. And those fears will actually have us disqualify ourselves from joy.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But again,
That's
I
all I'm
can't
saying.
take it. I don't dismiss anybody's fears. I just
Right.
want to try and add some encouragement for
And I
somebody
would
who's seen a lot of trauma.
You know, because when they're 10, they're not even teenagers yet, and
Right.
it just seems like, man, you're going the wrong way, and I'm always trying to push them back the right way, and it's like,
Right.
you
Right.
know, like why do
Right.
And
I
that's
don't
what you do.
understand.
You keep pushing it back the right way because truth trumps all of that.
Yeah.
And that's that's one of the main things that the reason why I keep pushing them back is because
Right.
you got to have something to balance out. I'm just hoping it doesn't feel like, this is me trying to make you be better than I am and you missed something or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I get it.
Earl, what's yours? Then I get
So
to Kaneem.
I think for me is not living up to who I'm supposed to be, and that it may sound cliche, but it's like if I was obedient to what God has called me to do, and sticking with the script, not going in my own plans, and how my disobedience could affect my family.
Right.
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 Not being able to, do the things the things that God may put in the desires for my for my wife, but because of my disobedience that we can't get to those places, or it takes longer because of that. And it's one that I find myself like really at this rock and a hard place, right? Just right here. Now, even with newborn daughters that want to make sure that we have the life that he has called for us, and so that it's something that sticks within me pretty much every day.
Okay. All right, Kenny, what you thinking? What you chewing on?
Oh man. Oh, we talking about right now?
Yeah, right now. Not back in the day. You good?
Man.
Don't want to be broke.
That Trump goes to jail.
That would be my greatest fear.
What's that?
What's that?
Trying to make sure I keep paying these bills. That's my
the ability to earn. I got you.
But nah, man. I mean, I don't. Greatest fear. I don't really. I guess my health.
I got you.
Reverting back to where I was before I got my transplant.
Okay.
I guess that would be my greatest fear, having my kidney failed and having to go back on dialysis for the rest of my life. That would probably be my greatest fear.
I feel you, dog. I thought you was going to say that you were wrong. That your greatest fear is that you were wrong, and Trump does not go to jail.
No, that is not my greatest fear. I mean, I thought
you were going to stop at you were wrong.
I got all the information I needed in the last 2-3 days about Trump. I mean, they already decided that he can't. I mean, he got to release all his business licenses for the state of New York. So I mean, once Trump Tower fall and Trump plows and all them, and they got to be dissolved. I mean, he ain't gonna really be able to do too much because he ain't gonna have no money. If you can't use the name, if you're not allowed to use the name, then his licensing rights, and that's where all his money is in his name.
He always gonna have money. That dude, he got a pension. He got a pension.
He got a Trump card. You know that, right?
Right. Literally.
But
I can't wait for him to throw it on the table. Put that.
But
all of that will be appealed. Okay.
With the health thing, that's with the kidneys. That's for some reason I almost had a scare that my kidney function was off, and I was actually pretty terrified. I don't know why. It was something about kidneys. Like I don't want to have to deal with that. So
pay attention to your blood pressure. Pay attention to your creatinine level. Make sure you go get your physical at least once a year. Try to get you some blood work done twice a year, and just pay attention to your numbers, man. Put it on the chart, put it in your phone, put it in the calendar, whatnot. Make sure that it's all good, because you never know. It snuck up on me and slapped the mess out of me, and I wasn't prepared for it. So, but I wasn't going to the doctor like I should have been. So that's why I tell y'all now, you know what I'm saying? You ain't going to the doctor regularly, you need to start, because you don't know what's going on. It's just like a car. If you don't change your oil, you know what I'm saying? Eventually it's going to break down. But if you don't know to change the oil, if you ain't getting those signals and you ain't being proactive, then eventually your body will fail because you ain't checking on it. So
do you hear what's being said now by Kaneem? Do you hear it? What I hear is the people that should be afraid, the people that should have fears, are the people that aren't doing what they need to do.
Right.
Wow.
Right. The greater the instability of habits and productivity, the greater the fear should be. But when you're getting up every day, you're making your bed every day, you're going to work every day, you're praying every day, you're doing your best to take care of your family every day, It should
Yeah.
lessen your fears.
There you go. Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Turn it around. I know. Don't worry. We weren't gonna stay in the dark place long.
Yeah. And Kaneem,
Yeah.
I heard you, man. You know, I watched you search trying to find. I'm like, people that have gone through trauma, it's hard for them to be afraid when you've survived trauma.
Oh yeah. No, I've been through some life changing experiences, just personally, not
Yeah.
viewing it or not being a witness to other people, but just my own situation. So,
Right.
But you had to come out of them first. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have been there in a hospital bed with tears coming out my eyes, literally praying and sending a message to my wife that I hope you have a great life after me. Like literally.
Wow.
Yeah. That'll change your perspective about things, man. You know?
Wow. It's deep. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to, I don't know, like I wanted to dig into this a little bit to get some perspective, you know, and Brian has kind of brought a lot of it back into the light, you know, just to, you know, not to, and especially as parents. I mean, Thomas, your joint is for real. Like you think about it sometimes, like, man, I just doing my best not to leave a trauma, you know, and like, you know, Brian was kind of saying, like, you doing your thing, you done the best you could. And even what you call it, Jeff said something big. He said, Pastor, he said, my wife and I always thought, you know, we've fallen short as parents. However, we look back, they're both in their late 30s, good jobs. He said, well, I guess we did okay, you know. So like, you know, that happens. You think about you know, afterwards, and your kids growing up, and you try to prevent what you can prevent. You know, you try to, like I said, Tom, try to nudge them, like, boom, here, good decision here, right here. That right there is the good decision. No. That's the good, you know, like, but we know we've been children, you know. Oh no, that decision looks fun. You know, like that decision looks like, oh yeah, I'm about to live my best life. Oh, he said, I feel some of you would end up on a no-fly list with those bids.
My greatest fear is that Reese's level of influence expands.
Man, I'm afraid.
Nice.
You know, one of the things, this is the Brothers of Legacy. You know, when we think about legacy and we think about, you know, greatest fears, it is about, you know, how your legacy turns out. And, you know, when it comes to work, when it comes to, did I do everything I could do? Are you going to finish the mission you're on right now? You know, just everything. Do I get to finish the way I want to finish? And a lot of times we don't know where the finish line is. We don't know when the last day or whatever. I'm not trying to turn it dark, but we do know that we're doing things and we're doing our best to leave a legacy.
Right.
And, you know, you never know when legacy is established and it can move on by itself without you. And so it's like, just give me the time to finish, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And, but we all know, you know, in the back of our minds, it's finished when you're finished. And so, so it's established, but at the same time, you still want to see. I want to see something, you know? And so.
True indeed. All right. So listen, we appreciate you guys for being here.
That's how you're gonna end it.
That's it. That's how I'm ending it. Just like that.
Yeah.
Man.
We ain't gonna end it like that with that cowboy.
You can't see. Jesus went to the cross, but you always got to bring him back from the grave. Never forget, he was resurrected. You can't leave him on the cross.
Yes. Right.
Hey, Brian, what Roman numeral is that? The last one, is that 30? That's XXX, huh?
Where?
Yeah. Yeah. Triple X. X-rated. All right.
Impressive. I know. Impressive.
Wait,
Listen,
what number
listen.
are we
When
on now?
you so here's the thing. What'd
What
you say?
number are we on now?
Oh, I don't even know.
50 something?
I won't even care till we win again.
Nice.
Having a fear of not measuring up means
Right.
that you're using the wrong grading scale,
Mm,
right?
let's go.
Because you guys have heard me say this. The only comparison that I have for my life is yesterday's version of me.
Right.
If I'm using any other grading scale, then I'm cheating myself. So to be a man taking care of your family and feeling like a failure, the question is, who's grading you?
Right. That's good.
Right?
It's usually you, though. You're your hardest critic.
Yeah, but
Right.
what are you using as your grading scale? Are you using
What do you
your
grade
previous
against?
version of self, or are you using what somebody else told you?
I'm
Somebody
using
else
the
told me.
responses from the people
Instagram.
that
You know,
working
Instagram
with.
families. They winning.
You know, that's a question that we can do a whole show on. What
Yeah,
scale are
right.
you using to grade yourself? Because
Right.
I think there's at different times you use different scales and different manners of correction and checking. But the thing is, are you even, reflecting to be able
Right.
to see what I was yesterday in order to be better today? A lot
Right.
of times people don't. We just keep it going, and it's the way it's always been, or this all I know, or whatever. But the reality is, daily we can wake up and be better. Daily we can let yesterday go, because there ain't nothing we can do about it anyways. And daily, every single day, we can make a true impact on our personal world and the world around us.
Right.
But is it? What would you say your grading would have to be more from your past than someone else's system or someone else that you're looking at or somewhere else? Because what are you living up to? Because we all have, each one of our children are different. No matter one child, every child is so different. Every family is so different. You may want your child to be at a certain level, to do a certain thing or to accomplish certain things. How do you compare? I mean, maybe that's the wrong word, but how do you compare? How do you know, your grading, how you're doing?
This little boy,
I
heard the story about this little boy whose dad took him to visit. His dad said, I want to take you to a place and show you how poor people live. So he packed his son in the car and he drove him out to this farm. And they stayed there for a few days. And what the little boy saw was how early those people had to get up and how hard they had to work, and how they sat down and ate dinner, how they sat around a fire at night talking. And he just started comparing what he had at home to what he saw on that farm.
Right.
When they left the farm, the father said, "Did you see, son?" And he said, "Yeah, Dad." He said, "We have electronic lights in our house, and they have stars. We have to leave home to go get our food, and they grow their own. We sit in a room and never talk to each other, and they talk around a campfire." After the son started doing all these comparisons, he said, "Thanks, Dad, for letting me know how poor we are." Right? Because everything about their life was electronic, artificial, TV screens,
Right.
and all of that. And these people were completely content, never leaving the farm. And the little boy saw that as wealth and saw his own life as being poor. So it's all about perspective, man. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And like I said before, when you get up, that's why it's so important, to your point, Thomas, to examine yourself. A person that does not critique or examine themselves, that should be the person afraid. And that typically is a person that's afraid. Right? But the people that are getting up every day, I'm going to say this again. Your measuring stick is wrong. if you're feeling like a failure, because there's no success without failure. There's no gain without pain. I mean, we got to go through this life, man. We got to make it. It's not about what you're going through. It's about how you come out of it. It's about how you go through it. And that's the right perspective to have. So you can't lose with the stuff we use. That's real. And every one of you guys have already said something that made me a believer all over again.
Cool. We said 36, 24, 36, huh?
Just for the record, I was a great parent until my kids became teenagers.
Right, killing the game.
Right.
Where did this Negro come from?
I was a superhero.
Yeah.
Until they became teenagers.
Right. Yo,
And
that's
I'm on the
real.
cusp of that, and I'm like, it's right there. Teenage, it's right there.
Yeah,
And you know, it's crazy too, because we had junior high and not middle school. Middle school is 3 years, so you get the 6th, 7th, 8th grade. You get these sixth graders around these 7th and 8th graders, and it's like, you know, I still feel like, man, it's right there, and here it comes. The rubber's about to meet the road. I'm about to find out what's going on and what I'm made of.
And for some reason, I thought it was going to be a gradual transition. No, it just slapped the mess out of you. Bow.
It just come out the room different. Just like
all it takes is one. It's like you just changed the radio station.
Yeah. Why I can't? Where that come from?
Why I can't?
All of a sudden, you got this question. Why I can't? Like, man, don't make me reach over there and choke the life out you.
Yeah,
in love.
That's a fear. I fear I might kill somebody.
I might take a kid out. Hey, Earl, welcome to the club, brother.
Yeah, I got a few years before that.
You got some time. You got time, brother. You got some time.
I got a lot of time.
Soon
slow walk this.
Right.
So you get that first. That ain't fair. It's gonna be like, oh Lord.
All right, you got twins
I've
too.
already gotten that.
Now I
Listen,
got
the other day, I got I'm done with this and walked away.
Oh, through the conversation. Oh yeah, your teenage years starting right now.
Hey,
right.
Look,
They rear it up.
be careful. Hey, look, be careful what you do with the first teenager, because the other ones are watching.
But you know, it's funny. It's funny that how I handled that was way better than I thought I would, because I didn't even respond to it. Not then. I responded later. You know, you think I want you to feel like you're okay, and then when you think you're okay, don't think that didn't come with a consequence.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out which consequence of what I can take away or make you do makes you think a little bit more than, you know, what I really want to do. Like Jeff is saying, I would choke you if you say that one.
Yoke you up like.
Jeff,
when you figure out your reflexes,
but
I just want to make you believe that it's possible you could get choked.
But the good thing is having other kids, like you said, having other kids watch.
Question mark.
You know that there's two things that can happen here. I can make an example out of you,
right?
Or I still have to care for the others that aren't acting up, you know. But at the same time, I'm not going to let you set an example for them that they think they can do it.
Yeah.
So there has to be a consequence. But
I was saying to you, to all these fathers who have teenagers on the way, you know, if you help one get a car,
I get another one.
You got to have everybody get a car.
They can't share that
and
car.
here's the thing: they don't compare. They don't consider their habits.
Oh no, it's still
because one might deserve a car, one may have earned it, and another one may not have, but they still want the same privilege, right? Yeah.
Listen, allowance is coming out this week, and my son did something yesterday, and I told him, look, you're not getting your allowance this week because I don't want you. You earn this. This is not
Right.
This is not privilege. This is not something that's a right to you. No, you earn this.
Right.
And so,
Right.
And so I'm pulling it back, but I'm a softie, man. I'm like, okay, I won't pull it all. I still give him a little something. But
It's all good, brother. It's all good. I understand. Because I get it. Because it's like,
well, Brian definitely
there's
gets
some
it
time-
because Brian, baby girl, come over here. I got something for you.
right.
I know I just got one
Wow.
daughter.
I stopped allowances back when they was like 11 or 12.
You stopped
Yeah,
allowance?
Listen, the funny thing is, I'm just starting right now.
4 or 5 years now. Ain't nobody got no allowance. I can't even get
I
you
never
to-
did allowance.
You never did allowance?
No, I did. I got one allowance for everybody. You allowed to live in this house.
My man, keep him alive.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've taken and done. Me and my wife been in negotiations about it.
I don't know about that yet.
I'm hoping it
Hey y'all, that was a lie. It just sounded real good.
It sounded
You
great.
know what? When you said, I was like, I swore these ladies said they.
Yeah,
I didn't want to call you out right here. I was gonna call you out when we go off.
we as dads are allowed to, you know, talk the talk. Don't mean we're going to walk the walk.
Hey, you know I can't get away. Man, I got 4 daughters, man. How would I have lived this long?
He just zelled them $50 a piece just now.
Right.
Just like, I'm sorry, I was talking smack on the podcast. Here's a little something.
Right.
Here's a little $50.
My name is Brian Zell McCrory.
Ah, good time. Good time.
It sounded good though.
time.
It did.
All
It
right.
did.
So, thanks for hanging out with us. Can I close out now? Are we good?
Oh no,
We
one
brought
more
it back
thing.
up?
We gotta take it back down. I'm just kidding.
We got-
15 more minutes.
Oh, wait. What, Jeff? He said my son just told me 15 years later that he used to take my BMW and drive it off and I guess curbs with his girlfriend and laugh.
Yeah.
Listen, Jeff, you can lay hands at that time. Like there's no statute of limitations on that.
No statute.
Lay hands.
Just cause.
Look, lay hands and tell them these are 15-year-old hands.
Right. Because I'm sure every time you got in that car, something was going on. You're like, why the car off like this? Like, why is it making that noise? Come on, we're like, what's going on with this car? Like,
look, I know you're trying to close out. Look, allow me to make a confession to my mom since she's on here real quick.
confession time.
He dated a guy named John Lee back in the day. He was a military guy, and he had this 1985 Mercury something half vinyl top, Mercury Cougar.
Ooh,
it was gray and burgundy, and the burgundy part was vinyl. Oh, it was clean. It's clean. And he messed up and let me drive it. I treated that car like it was a sports car.
Oh,
we was doing donuts. I almost wrecked it. I've never said this out loud, but I tried to cut around a car, not knowing the car was going to make a left turn.
Oh, shoot.
And I tried to cut around the car on the left to get in front of it, and the car was turning left, and I had to scream. It was crazy. Yeah, I did that in John Lee's car, Mom. Yep.
Sure did, Pastor. I'll just say this: this is a day of reminiscing for you. I see.
On that note, we appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. You guys take care. Make sure you hang out with us Freestyle Friday as we discuss why Trump is not going to jail. And we will see you guys tomorrow. But I appreciate you guys. Listen, I know we've been on for a minute. I thank my brothers for showing up because they are volunteering their time to come hang out with us and have these conversations. Thank you, Earl, coming in on this Thursday, even having the babies and the twins. Brian in the building as always. Travis Scott, aka Kaneem Curvey. Appreciate you. Larry, Jay, thanks. Hey, make sure you guys work out with Larry tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mr. Thomas Cotton, thank you guys. Thank you for always being here and sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Stay connected. Join our community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. And that's it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.